Hello there. My name is Melissa from Baking with Melissa. I am the owner and creator of a baking party entertainment company here in Los Angeles called Baking with Melissa. I host in-home baking events all over Los Angeles and the surrounding areas, as well as virtual events, specializing in employee engagement events all around the world. Today, we are making my strawberry jam recipe. So I'll go over the prep work once again, and it's in the chat box as well. And everybody that's here with me today, just so you know, I like to say everything out loud several times, but I like to put things in the chat box as well. So that way, if you're not quite ready for the next step, no problem. We go at our own speed here. We don't have to rush or stress out or anything. In the end, we always end up with whatever we're making together. We just might not be on the exact same step all the time. So step one that we are doing of our prep work today is sterilizing our jar. We're doing this to make sure if there's any little anything inside this jar, even if it's brand new, there might be some kind of bacteria in there which will make our strawberry jam get moldy really quick. So we are going to sterilize it by just putting it in a pot of hot water or a pot of water that we turn up, and then it's going to get hot. It's going to boil for about 10 minutes or so. And then we'll have a nice sterilized jar. It's rare that your jar is fully covered in the water, okay? So as long as it's in the water, you could turn it around a couple of times in the water with some tongs or a spoon or whatever you have, that will work as well. And then step two, if you haven't done this yet, we have washed and dried our berries. People ask me all the time, can I use a different berry if you want to make this another time? Answer is absolutely. If you want to do a berry melody, you can do that as well. I just have found through my times of playing with all the different berries, strawberry is my favorite. So when I promote this class, I always just say strawberry. And then if you feel like going on your own and doing your own thing, that's great too. It's usually about a cup of mashed strawberries. I was talking earlier, a lot of times I like to put it in a glass container and mash them down this way. Or I could put it in maybe a Ziploc bag and squish it. If you have little kids in the kitchen, that's always fun for them too. It's just to mash the berries themselves, get messy a little bit. All right, and so a few of you don't know who I am. My name is Melissa. My company is called Baking with Melissa. I live here in Los Angeles in the Glendale area. My company is a baking party entertainment company. I host baking parties all over Los Angeles, mostly for kids and teens. And then my online virtual space is mostly adults all over the world on Zoom. And I host employee engagement events for almost every day of the week. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I wanted to do this just to add some happiness in the world right now. Been a little crazy if you live in Los Angeles. We've had a lot of craziness going on lately. So I wanted to make some strawberry jam with some of my old friends and some new friends too. So we're going to get started. Hopefully I talked long enough for you to get your berries all mashed up. And as I mentioned, this recipe, it's so easy that you will then see, oh, I can make my own strawberry jam. And oh my gosh, my friend Raylene from high school is in here today. And that is so exciting. One of my old dear friends. So thank you for being here. All right, so the pot that I want you to use today, so I have three sizes of pots. If you have a larger pot, that's the one we want to use for the strawberry jam. When it starts boiling up, it can boil over. So if you use your smallest one, you might end up with strawberry goo all over your stovetop. So if you have choices, use the bigger one if you have choices. If you don't, use what you have. And then just keep your eye on the pot. You might need to reduce the heat just a little bit. Now, I do have two cameras today pinned in the speaker view. If you feel like seeing the speaker view of just me and my two cameras, you can click over on the top right on the speaker view and you'll be able to see what I'm doing. And we're gonna get ourselves started. All right, so I don't want you to turn on the heat yet, but I want you to grab the pot you're gonna use for your jam making today. And inside here, I want you to go ahead and put your strawberries or whatever berries you're using. And go ahead and place that right into your pot. Okay? And by the way, some of you are coming, but if you haven't thought about coming yet, the next class today is a buttermilk biscuit class, which goes great with some strawberry jam, just saying. So I have my berries in the pot. And as I mentioned, I'm going to put this in the chat box for you, but also say it out loud. We're going to measure out 1 cup of sugar, this granulated sugar. Pour it right on top of your strawberries, okay? So 1 cup of sugar. Anybody like sugar? One of my favorite ingredients. Sugar and butter. My grandma always said, everything great in life, she would say with her little southern accent. Oh, honey, everything good in life starts with some sugar and butter. And that is true, because cookies and brownies and cake and everything else starts with sugar and butter. So 1 cup of sugar, dump that in. People ask me often, can I reduce the sugar for this recipe? And I would say, if you need to reduce it, just do it by maybe 1/4 of a cup at most. I will send you the recipe for this after the class, probably sometime later today. So if you do need to reduce it, not much. It kind of needs the sugar to make it. There's only 3 ingredients, so a little bit you could. And then we're gonna measure out 1 tablespoon, please, of lemon juice, okay? 1 tablespoon. If you have freshly squeezed, great. I'm using it right from a jar to make it a little easier. And so I have these 3 ingredients in the pot. Just my berries that are mashed up. I have mine kind of chunky. I like mine chunky. And then I have 1 cup of sugar, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. And then take a smell. If you're a little one, take a smell. What does that smell like? Does it smell good? And once you've got all that in your pot, you're going to go ahead and place it on your stove top, please. And I want you to start with a low heat, okay? We're going to start with a low heat and stir it. And once you notice that that sugar has dissolved into your pot, you'll kind of notice all the sugar and the berries come together. It'll dissolve. It's no longer separated. Once you see that, you're going to crank it up to a higher heat, okay? And if you have a food thermometer, you're going to be able to see if your jam is the exact temperature or not. That will help. And if you don't have a food thermometer, I'm going to talk you through what it'll look like when it's probably close to being ready, okay? So for now, we'll just start on a low heat. Once you notice you don't see a separation between your strawberries and your sugar anymore, then you're going to turn it up on a higher heat, okay? I turn mine up to high. And it's going to just start going. It's going to start boiling, and you're going to stay at your stovetop just stirring it. And it'll start boiling in a few moments. And if you do have a food thermometer, you're going to take the temperature of it and make sure it hits 220 degrees. If you don't have a food thermometer, you're going to keep your eye on it. You're going to watch it kind of boil up, and it's going to get a little foamy on top, and then it'll start boiling back down. And that's how we know it's pretty close if you don't have a food thermometer. And I'll talk through that again in a moment. All right. So while we're standing at the stovetop, though, you have to mix for a moment. And when I say a moment, it's kind of a couple minutes. Okay. And so I was wondering if when you have a moment to let me know, what is your favorite kind of jam? And what is your favorite way to eat it? What is your favorite kind of jam and your favorite way to eat it? And you're more than welcome to come off mute and tell me, or you can put it in the chat box, whichever you like.
I did. What kind of jam do you like?
What kind of jam do you like?
Cotton candy. Yeah.
Well, that sounds delicious. Thank you for sharing. Who else? What's your favorite kind of jam? Favorite way to eat it? Like, I like to eat my jam like a fig jam on a crusty sourdough bread. Oh, it makes me so happy. What about you? And again, you can say it out loud or in the chat box. Either way is perfect. And if you don't like jam, maybe you like jelly. There's a difference, you know? Jam has a consistency that has more texture in it. And jelly is usually really smooth and it's not as textured. All right, so mine, as you can see, mine's already, you could probably see it in that pot overview there. Mine's already boiling. I have these copper pots and they work really fast. So mine boiling, it's kind of fluffing up. The boil is fluffing up. I'm still stirring it. And that is a good indication that it is coming along. And then if you do have a food thermometer, you're going to be looking for 220 degrees. Now, even with mine fluffing up as high as it is, it's still not ready. All right. My way of knowing, usually without a food thermometer, if it is ready, it's going to boil really fast and it's going to kind of move upward. And then it's going to start boiling back down. And that's usually that sweet spot if you don't have a food thermometer. If you do have a food thermometer, you'll notice that it's going to stick right under 220 for a little while. It'll be like 218, but just keep waiting, keep waiting. All right, Aurora's house says we like raspberry jam with buttermilk biscuits. Yes. Nice. There's something for me about peanut butter. A peanut butter toasted bread with peanut butter on top and chunky strawberry jam, my favorite. Maya and Diego's house says blueberry jam. All right, so now I can see my boil was really high and now it's starting to boil down. And I can start seeing a darker color inside that pot as well. It's boiled back down and now mine has hit 220. So once it hits 220, I let it just boil for about 2 more minutes, okay? So any jam on fresh scones? Yes, Carla. I mean, I'm not gonna turn down any kind of baked goods or jam. All right, so you'll start noticing fluffy, then it starts boiling down and then the color darkens a little bit. And when yours boils back down, if you don't have a food thermometer, it boils back down, you start seeing the red color on the bottom, then just watch the clock for about 2 minutes. Or if you get nervous, you can turn it off, but it's better for the sugar to boil. Let's see what we got here. Right. Strawberry jam on a Dutch baby. Is that what's a Dutch baby? Why don't I know what that is?
It's like a big German pancake in a cast iron.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That I can get. Yes. 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 I know what that is. By name, I don't know. All right, I have a kind of a funny question for you, okay? So first I'll tell you this. Once it boils all the way up, then it boils back down. And if you have a food thermometer, you'll know easier. But if you don't, then do the best you can. You'll start noticing it kind of, the red color comes back toward the bottom. And if you take your spoon or your spatula or whatever you're using on the side, it's a little stickiness, like a little hint of stickiness. And that's a good indication that your sugar has boiled down. And then I just let it sit here and cool down for just a few moments. But I have a little question. Sometimes I like to do trivia and sometimes I like to do other little things, but this one's going to be a little silly question for a moment, okay? Would you rather you're always hot in life, like everywhere you go, you're just hot, or would you always rather be cold? Which one would you prefer? Always being hot are always being cold? Which one? Hot, Maya and Diego. I saw Diego. You wrote that so fast too.
Mom said cold.
Cold. Cold, cold, warm. Oh, wait, warm. We chose our own. Hot or cold. All right, how about this one? Would you rather always, like, so if you could only scream and shout all the time or only whisper all the time, which one would you prefer? To only be able to shout and scream all the time? So, or whisper all the time, which one? Scream and shout. Yes. But like all the time, you know?
Probably scream and shout. We're not a very quiet household.
We're not very quiet at all.
We got some whispers over there. Yes, Aurora, I believe you on that one too. Whisper, Lindsay said. Yes. Hmm. Let's see what else we have. Cold shout, Valerie. Yes. All right, how about this one? One more. Would you rather always be sticky or itchy? Which one? Sticky or itchy? And again, once your strawberries are done, you're just going to turn off the heat and let it cool just for a moment. It doesn't have to be too long. Sticky or itchy? Would you rather always be sticky or itchy? I know neither one are ideal for me. All right, and we got itchy over there too. Nice. All right, how about this? This one's a multiple choice question, okay? What do you think, this is a little trivia, what do you think is the most popular home-baked cookie in the United States? What do you think is the most popular home-baked cookie in the United States? Is it a sugar cookie, a peanut butter cookie, or a chocolate chip cookie? Sugar cookie, peanut butter cookie, or a chocolate chip cookie? Which one? What do you think?
Chocolate chip cookie.
Chocolate chip cookie. Can you smell your strawberries coming together now? Smells so good, doesn't it? All right, chocolate chip, chocolate chip. Mom says chocolate chip. I say sugar. Love it. All right. So your pot of water, hopefully you have that cranked up. You should have just the little bubbles should start forming. I usually go over and try to turn my jar around once or twice just to make sure that all of it is getting covered in the hot water. We're sterilizing the jar, like I said, just to make sure there's nothing kind of trapped in there. That way our jam will last for several months if it will last that long in your household. So the answer to that question, by the way, is chocolate chip cookie. All right, here's my next question about cookies. What do you think is the most popular store-bought cookie in the world? Most popular store-bought cookie in the world. Is it a Chips Ahoy cookie, Keebler cookie, Oreo cookie, or Nilla wafer? Chips Ahoy, Keebler, Oreo, or Nilla wafer? What do you think? Most popular store-bought cookie anywhere in the world. So by the way, the strawberry jam tastes delicious just as it is now. So if you feel like you want to take a little taste test, you can blow on it. Make sure you don't eat the jam too hot. You could take a little taste and it tastes so good whenever yours is ready. And we're just waiting for our pot of water to boil just a little bit, just to get it nice and sanitized. As soon as my jar comes out, which will be in probably about 1 more minute for me, I will pop my lid in at that point. So that way my lid gets sterilized as well, but the inside of the jar is the important part. All right, so the question, look at all of you, you know your cookie. That was great. Yes, you are correct. It is an Oreo cookie. And let's see. So I know some of you here are bakers and or chefs, possibly. What's your favorite dessert to make? Do you have a dessert you like to make, and what is it? If so, feel free to tell us in the chat box or out loud, either way. Favorite dessert you like to make or eat, either one is fine. So we have cheesecake. We've got ice cream. My mind is like, what kind of cheesecake? What kind of ice cream? Tiramisu? Yes. I'm a chocolate, like chocolate and chocolate lover. So like a dense fudgy brownie with chocolate fudge on top is like my dream dessert. Or it's the same with cake. Dense chocolate cake with chocolate in the middle. Brownies. Laura, did you ever make my everything but the kitchen sink brownies? I think you did, yes. New York style. I think Maya and Diego did too. Vanilla ice cream. Oh, mochi cake, melted cookie. Yum. All right, so I'm going to show you how's everybody's strawberry mixture coming together. We have it kind of boiled. Is it good? Okay, great. I am going to show you what I do next. So after my jar has been sterilizing for a little while inside the pot, I'm going to take a paper towel that doesn't have anything on it, or you could use a regular towel. I'm using some tongs. Woo. Let me get this. I'm going to use these tongs to pour that water out. And then I'm going to take my jar and try to turn it upside down without touching the inside of it, just so some of that water will drip out a little bit. And then I'm going to turn my pot off, and I'm going to put my lid inside for just a couple minutes. So I let the jar, probably parents need to do this if we have little ones in the house. So I've got my jar, I've turned it upside down. I let some of the water drip out. I don't need to dry it or anything. And then what I'm gonna do is scrape out my jam and pour it slowly into whatever jar you're going to be using. And again, sometimes we have to pour it in like a spaghetti jar, and that is totally okay today. If once you get the recipe, you decide you're gonna start making jam and you wanna make sure you get the right size jars, I'll have the size in the recipe for you as well, okay? But for your first time, if you didn't have the right jar or whatever, it's totally fine if it's just you eating it anyway. But this makes a really great gift to give away, everybody. So if you want to do some nice little housewarming gift for someone, or maybe you're going to their house for some sort of celebration and you want to bring like bread or some kind of sweet treat or something like that, or in a jar of jam, always a lovely gift to make for someone. Maya and Diego say, we love your cinnamon rolls too. I know, they're so good. I actually thought maybe we should make cinnamon rolls for this class today as well, but then I was thinking a little bit more savory would be fun. Biscuits and jam sounds so good. All right, so I pour my jam slowly in to the jar. And then after my lid has been in the pot for, I don't know, usually like a minute or so, minute or two, then I'll take my little lid out of the water. And that I'm gonna make sure is dry. I don't want to put the lid on if it's wet. So I will dry that off, trying not to touch this part with your hands because you don't want anything to get contaminated in there. I'll dry that off, and then I'm gonna place the lid on, and I don't have to wait for the jam to cool, okay? You just get that lid right on top. And that's all you have to do. I'm going to put that in the little chat box for you, just in case. I do tell people a couple of things here to make it a little, excuse me one second. Just to make it a little easier on you. after you sample this, you might want to put some hot water in here because this part of the jam will start to kind of congeal onto your pot and make it a little difficult to clean up. So a lot of times I'll just pour the water from the hot pot that has all the water in there now for sterilization into the pot, so that way I don't have to spend too long cleaning up the pot. And then you have a little jar of jam. The only bad news about this is it takes a little while for it to really come together and be ready. I usually tell people it's like 6 hours or so, maybe overnight is even better. Now, can you eat it when it's not fully developed and ready? Yes, you can, but it will taste even better like in 6 hours, 8 hours, tomorrow, whenever. But isn't it so cute? Now, wouldn't you say that making strawberry jam is a little easier than you thought? I would think so. All right, I'm going to give everybody just let me see with some thumbs up. Well, before putting it in the fridge. Great question, Carla. No. So Carla asked, does it need to cool before you put it in the fridge? And the answer is no. We're just going to pop it right in the fridge just like this. But we might take a little group photo with jam. So even if you don't want your face on camera, if you want to just show off your little jar of jam, we'll take a little photo. Yeah, so I always just put it right in the refrigerator right after the class, and I let it just sit in there. And as long as you didn't have any kind of, any kind of contamination inside this, it will last for several months, just like regular jam you might buy at the store. All right, let's see here. What else do I need to tell you? So in case you don't know who I am and want to follow me on socials or to show me what you made in class today, I would love to be tagged in any videos or posts on Instagram or Facebook. And did you all make jam over there, Aurora, with your little sissy? Yes. Okay. All right. Let me turn this off. So we're going to take a little photo. And if you don't have jam ready yet, let me know and I can help if you, it's still cooking. Oh, yours is still cooking. Okay. Did you double yours, Aurora? Your mom had mentioned that you might be doubling it. That's probably what it is. Oh, you didn't. Okay. All right. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. You reused your jar at Lindsay's house. That's so smart. You just replaced your old jam jar with new jam. That's amazing. All right. All right, everybody. If you want to show off, if you don't have any jam ready, you'll finish yours up whenever yours is ready. You can show off some tongs or some oven mitts or just a big old smile if you want. There we go. And I'll send this along to you with the recipe probably later today. All right, everybody, here we go. In 1, 2, and 3. Thank you. All right. Wonderful. Raylene's house. That's funny. All right, everybody. If you want to join later, we are doing the buttermilk biscuit class as well. I would love to have you. This one is my quickest class I teach, 30 minutes. The next one's about an hour. We'll be making buttermilk biscuits and honey butter. And yeah, if you would like to donate for the fire relief and everything, by all means, please do. And if not, you do not need to. I wanted to just do this just to give back to the community a little bit. So thank you so much. I'm Melissa from Baking with Melissa. If you want to stay on and chat with me for a few minutes, you're more than welcome. And if not, I will see you maybe at another virtual event, but I will send you the recipe for this class later today. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. We'll see you later.
Bye.
See you later.
We'll see you later.